The Tokyo earthquake is a phenomenon in Japan's capital city that disrupts everything around it, forcing people to take to the streets and hide along the road. Disaster has become the guiding thought of the story, as the total abandonment of real life and the wasting of time anger the earthly forces. The story begins with the introduction of the main character, named Tsuruyuki. The guy is sitting on the toilet seat and notices that he's running out of toilet paper. He presses the sleeve into his palm, leaving a round mark. After a moment, he tries to count how much time will pass before the print is gone from his hand. How much time is he wasting on his pointless life? A moment, 10 seconds, 10 minutes, a few weeks, or 10 years? The guy has been living all alone in a vacant house for 10 years. During that time, he has become completely asocial and has lost track of time and what's going on. He calls himself hikikomori. That's what they call people who have completely disconnected themselves from reality and have reached an extreme degree of alienation. These people, on their own, enclose themselves in a domestic setting, are not on the streets and do not communicate with those around them. Normally, hikikomori live off their parents, but Tsuruyuki lives alone. This allows him to sit in the bathroom with the doors open and not give weighty attention to what is going on in his life. He doesn't watch TV, the dusty appliances stand in the corner of the room, covered with other junk. The guy can't remember the last time he turned on the TV or listened to the news. Tsuruyuki eats instant noodles in a small kitchen. There are no chairs in the room because he always eats standing up. Over the years, Tsuruyuki has turned cleaning into an art form. Each pizza box stands in its place, corresponding to the order number and date of purchase. Bottles and boxes of instant noodles stand in their place, the house seems perfect. All the books in his house are read and stacked evenly. Lately, the guy has been reading a lot of fishing and long-distance travel magazines. After reading the stories, Tsuruyuki misses his home very much. The boy never enters his father's room, but often tries to smell him from the hallway. He regularly receives money from him every month. His father used to send little letters, but for the past 9 years all the guy gets is money, enough to pay for pizza deliveries and the rest of the fast food. The guy spends every day in the same routine. He calls the delivery service, waits a few minutes, opens the door, hands over the money and takes his order. For 10 years, Tsuruyuki has not made eye contact with strangers, including delivery men. Usually, on Saturdays, he orders a pizza, which is always delivered by the same girl. One day she asked why Tsuruyuki never makes eye contact. The question put the guy in a stupor, but he didn't look up. The boy never liked talking to people, even much earlier. He always looked away and tried not to meet strangers. The guy never liked bright sunlight, but he liked to catch the sun's rays. They gave him confidence and brightness in life. Tsuruyuki thought a lot and reasoned about philosophical topics. He often looked at his watch, realizing that the whole world was moving except for him. 10 years of denial from the outside world, Tsuruyuki closed himself in and did not try to live on. The boy encases himself in the cage of his own home, with no desire to develop and move on. The whole made-up world contradicts hikikomori, contradicts real life. He eats standing up, falls asleep on the toilet and sniffs his father's room from which his scent wafts in. Another Saturday arrives, and the guy orders a pizza. Tsuruyuki doesn't look up at the delivery guys and ignores questions. His attention is focused on the stockings of the girl who comes in and he looks up for the first time in 10 years. He holds out money to the girl, after which the delivery man pours the change onto a pizza box. At that moment, disaster strikes, an earthquake hits Tokyo. All the books and boxes crumble from their immaculate stacks, bottles and phones fall to the floor, people fuss and go out into the street. The girl collapses abruptly, after which the earthquake ends and people calm down. But only the girl continues to lie unconscious. Tsuruyuki tries to find a way to save the girl and decides to draw some water. The courier lies unconscious and does not regain consciousness. In order not to worry, the guy drinks the water and sprays the girl with a sprayer. Tsuruyuki carefully examines the girl, trying to find a way to regain consciousness. He notices several button tattoos on her arm, next to which are signed actions and feelings, headache, sadness, hysteria. The guy finds the button with the name on it, an inclusion that was slightly above the stocking, and presses it. The girl opens her eyes and is confused. She wonders who pressed the button and is surprised to find out the answer. The girl shows the guy tricks with her body, and after ripping her finger off and giving it back, the guy is surprised. The girl examines Tsuruyuki's house and points out a mistake in a stack of pizza boxes. The guy flips the bottom box, bringing it to perfection. The girl admits that Tsuruyuki's house is delightful and perfect, but the awful smell is wafting all over the place. All night long Tsuruyuki cannot sleep. He constantly stares at the ceiling and thinks about the girl. He wonders where the buttons on her body came from and what they mean. The next day, the guy orders pizza again and, dressed smartly, waits for the girl. Unfortunately for him, the order is brought by another delivery guy who introduces himself as the girl's husband. The man enters the phone without permission, leaving wet footprints. From the conversation with the former employee, it becomes clear that today, instead of all the employees, orders are delivered by the head of the pizzeria. He admits that he is not the girl's husband, but she quit yesterday, as did most of the delivery staff. After looking around a bit, the man repeats the girl's words about the house being delightful. The supervisor sadly states that people have stopped going out and are sitting in their confinement. At the last moment, the man gives Teruyuki the girl's address and he decides to pay her a visit. The guy is looking for his shoes, which he hasn't worn in about 10 years. He opens the doors, but a bright light from the street stops him. He realizes that he is not used to daylight and hates to sweat. The outside world seems very bright to him, and he doesn't dare take the first step. Teruyuki decides to sit in the hallway all day, looking at the empty street. The next day, the guy tries to take his first steps again, and he succeeds. He looks around and notices any movement. Teruyuki decides to walk toward the subway, but quickly changes his route and heads toward a shuttle bus. He realizes he has run out of money and won't be able to leave. Afterwards he remembers that he once had a bicycle and tries to retrieve it from the thicket. Teruyuki fails to do so and decides to take the route on foot. After a moment, the guy is already running through empty streets, uninhabited and surrounded by empty houses. Suddenly he sees a man in a white sweater hiding behind mirrored doors. He tries to talk to him, but fails to do so. The huge metropolis of Tokyo is completely empty and deserted. The streets are deserted and deliveries are made by robots. Hikikomori began to develop very quickly, with people shut in their homes and surrounded by their own routines. The guy keeps running through the deserted streets, peering into small houses. He speculates about the people he sees. Some of them remind Teruyuki of his past, and some are just beginning to live up to the Hikikomori canon. Finally, the boy reaches his lover's house and calls the girl for a conversation. But she does not agree to the proposal and completely shuts herself off from the outside world. The doors and windows are slammed shut, but the guy doesn't lose an opportunity and tries to break down the bars on the windows. He realizes that he won't be able to meet her again, so he tries to shout and get the girl's name. Once again, a violent earthquake begins. People run out into the streets and it gets pretty loud. Dishes, boxes and books fall off the shelves, but it forces our main characters to meet. Teruyuki tries to summon a girl, but she ignores his questions. People run through the streets trying to find a safe place. The earthquake quickly ends, and people return to their quiet quarters, closing doors and windows. The metropolis quietens and empties again, the streets filling with silence. After a moment, he notices a girl in a helmet who has left the house. The courier tries to quickly return to his house to dismiss the strange man's questions. Teruyuki tries to grab the girl's hand, but he fails for a long time. At the last moment, he manages to press a button labeled, "Love." The guy quickly answers the unasked question, confirming that it was he who pushed the button. The girl drowns in the guy's eyes and an earthquake again surrounds the metropolis. The story cuts off, but viewers hear the sounds of destruction against a black background. The conclusion of this story is, love can save you from loneliness and self-destruction.